The Nile flows endlessly beneath the golden sky, its waters gleaming like liquid sunlight. Along its banks, reeds sway softly in the morning breeze, whispering to the herons that drift across the shallows. The air is warm, carrying the scent of wet clay and distant blossoms. As dawn unfolds, Egypt awakens gently, just as it has for thousands of years. The river is the lifeblood of this ancient land. Its annual floods bring rich silt from the heart of Africa, spreading it across the fields like a gift from the gods. Without the Nile, there would be no harvests, no villages, no temples of stone. Every home, every hand, every breath depends upon its calm and patient rhythm. In the quiet light of morning, farmers lead oxen into the fields, their footsteps slow and deliberate. The earth is dark and soft beneath their sandals, still damp from the retreating waters. Wooden plows trace smooth lines in the soil, guided by hands that have learned their craft through countless generations. The rhythm of work is unhurried, almost meditative, a steady heartbeat echoing the pulse of the river. Beyond the fields, clusters of date palms rise, their shadows stretching long across the sand. Children run among them, their laughter mingling with the rustle of palm fronds. From the distance, the cry of an ibis echoes, soft and musical, blending with the hush of flowing water. The Nile listens to all, keeper of every secret and story told along its shore. Further upstream, fishermen mend their nets beside small reed boats. The papyrus fibers are coarse beneath their fingers, yet familiar, as much a part of their lives as the sun itself. They work in silence, pausing only to glance toward the horizon where the temples glimmer faintly in the haze. The gods, they know, are watching. Across the river, the white limestone walls of ancient shrines catch the light, reflecting it back upon the water. Priests move quietly within their courtyards, tending lamps and incense. The scent of myrrh drifts outward, mingling with the wind that passes over the fields. Each prayer rises like smoke, fragile yet eternal, carried toward the unseen heavens. In these sacred places, time feels slower. The scribes sit cross-legged in shaded alcoves, their reed pens gliding across rolls of papyrus. They write of kings and harvests, of the river's rise and fall, of offerings given and omens read. Each symbol they draw connects them to the long chain of memories stretching back through the ages, the written soul of Egypt. When the sun climbs higher, the land shimmers. Heat bends the air until distant shapes tremble like ghosts. Yet the Nile remains calm, its current unbroken. Along its edges, lotus flowers open wide, white and blue against the mirrored sky. Bees move lazily from bloom to bloom, while dragonflies hover like fragments of light. Everywhere, there is rhythm, the rhythm of life guided by the sun and the flood, the planting and the harvest. The people do not rush it, they belong to it. Even their homes, built from mud brick, blend into the earth as though they grew from it. Within these walls, families share bread made from emmer wheat and cool water drawn fresh from the river. At midday, the village grows still. Work slows, voices fade, and even the animals seek shade. The sound of the wind softens to a hush. Time itself seems to pause, as if the world holds its breath beneath the blazing sky. Only the steady murmur of the river continues, the gentle pulse of eternity. As the day wanes, colors deepen. The sky shifts from gold to rose, then to violet. Farmers return from the fields carrying baskets of barley and onions, their faces glistening with the dust of labor. Smoke rises from clay ovens, carrying the scent of baking bread. The air is alive again, filled with soft laughter and a low murmur of voices greeting the evening. When the sun finally dips below the horizon, the world exhales. Shadows lengthen across the river, and the water glows with reflected fire. Lamps are lit one by one, small stars against the gathering night. The people give thanks to the gods, to Happy, Spirit of the Nile, who grants them life with every flood and every harvest. Above, the first true stars appear. They shine bright and steady over the desert, just as they did for the ancestors who once built the pyramids. The villagers lift their eyes, feeling the same quiet wonder, the same connection to the vastness of the sky. The night descends like silk, cool and comforting after the heat of the day. The Nile, too, changes in the dark. It slows, deepens, becomes a mirror for the heavens. Frogs sing from the reeds. The wind moves softly through the papyrus. Somewhere, a crocodile slides silently through the current, unseen except for a brief ripple. Yet even this feels peaceful, part of the eternal rhythm that has never ceased. Far beyond the villages, the sands stretch toward the horizon, endless, patient, unchanging. Tombs lie hidden beneath them, guarded by stone lions and forgotten prayers. Yet the river continues to flow beside them, as if whispering that nothing truly ends, only changes form. The Egyptians know this truth well. Life, death, and rebirth are but phases of the same divine current. And so the night deepens, but the Nile remains, eternal, tranquil, alive. Night spreads across the valley, soft and heavy with the scent of lotus and sand. The moon rises slowly over the eastern hills, its silver light touching the ripples of the river. The temples gleam faintly in the distance, their tall obelisks like silent fingers pointing toward the stars. The hum of insects fills the air, a chorus older than memory. Within the sacred walls, priests begin their nightly rituals. They move with quiet precision, lighting lamps of oil and tending altars of alabaster. The soft flicker of flames paints patterns across carved hieroglyphs, telling stories of gods who shaped the world. The scent of frankincense rises and drifts upward, curling through the darkness toward the open sky. Astronomers climb narrow stairways to the roof of the great temple. From there, the heavens stretch in every direction, endless and calm. They study the constellations that guide both farmers and kings. Each star has a name, each movement a meaning. The watchers record them carefully on strips of papyrus, knowing that the rhythm of the sky mirrors the rhythm of the Nile itself. Far below, the village rests in silence. Families lie on flat rooftops beneath woven blankets, their breathing slow and even. The night wind passes gently across the land, carrying the faint rustle of palms and the hush of distant waters. The sounds of the world soften until only the whisper of the river remains. Beyond the black line of the horizon, the desert waits, vast and timeless. It has watched over the river for millennia, patient as stone. Buried beneath its dunes lie treasures and memories, the resting places of pharaohs who once ruled with divine authority. Their spirits are said to travel with the sun, reborn each dawn to watch once more over their people. Closer to the river, sacred animals stir in the moonlight. White ibises stand motionless among the reeds, their reflections perfect in the still water. Cats move silently through the shadows, guardians of grain stores and symbols of grace. Every creature here is sacred, for every life is part of the eternal order that sustains this world. The priests of the Temple of Hapi, god of the Nile's floods, offer thanks for the river's generosity. They pour cool water into stone basins and speak the ancient words of blessing. The ceremonies are calm and measured, performed not out of fear, but gratitude. They understand that the balance of life depends upon reverence and harmony. As the night deepens, the moon climbs higher, casting pale light across the valley. The great pyramids far to the north shimmer faintly, their edges softened by distance and haze. They stand as mountains of memory, silent witnesses to the passage of countless generations. To gaze upon them is to feel the weight of eternity, and yet also the peace of knowing one's place within it. The astronomers finish their observations and descend the temple steps. They leave behind tablets covered in star maps and records of the Nile's flood levels. These are not mere numbers, but the heartbeat of a civilization, a dialogue between earth and sky. Knowledge here is sacred, for through understanding the world, they believe they come closer to understanding the divine. As the hours pass, the air cools. A faint mist rises from the river, softening the outlines of the world. The water seems to breathe, exhaling clouds of silver that drift across the fields. It is as though the Nile itself dreams, a dream of renewal, of the endless cycle of life that flows through every grain of sand. The first light of dawn appears faintly in the east. The sky begins to pale, and the stars fade one by one. The priests greet the sun with low, melodic chants, their voices blending with the awakening of the birds. Across the land, the sound of life returns, the bray of donkeys, the creak of wooden wheels, the distant call of fishermen setting out upon the water. As the sun rises, it touches the tops of the palms, then the rooftops, then the faces of those who watch from their doorways. Warmth spills across the earth, gentle and golden. The river brightens, transforming from silver to blue, its surface scattered with sparks of light. The day begins anew, just as it always has. In the temple, scribes unroll fresh sheets of papyrus and dip their pens in ink made from soot and water. They begin to record the events of the new day, the height of the river, the offerings given, the omens observed in the flight of birds. Their writing is steady, graceful, eternal. Each stroke preserves the rhythm of life for generations yet unborn. The farmers return once more to the fields. They sing softly as they walk, their songs rising and falling with the rhythm of their work. The oxen pull the plows through the fertile soil, and the scent of wet earth fills the air. The river glimmers beside them, patient and watchful. It has seen all this before, and will see it again, long after they are gone. Along the banks, women wash linen in the shallows, their movements slow and methodical. They speak little, listening to the gentle lap of the water against the stones. The fabric gleams in the sunlight, clean and bright. Children nearby chase one another among the reeds, their laughter floating across the current like birdsong. The Nile nourishes not only the land but the spirit. It teaches patience, balance, and gratitude. To live beside it is to understand the rhythm of existence, that every rise is followed by a fall, every flood by renewal. The people know this deeply. It is written into their hearts as clearly as their language is carved into temple walls. By midday, the valley glows beneath the full light of the sun. Shadows shrink, colors intensify, and the air hums with life. Yet even in this brightness, there is calm. The people move slowly, conserving their strength, their gestures as measured as the flow of the river itself. Time here does not rush forward. It flows, unhurried and eternal. In the distance, the desert shimmers. Caravans cross its endless expanse, bringing goods and stories from faraway lands. Yet when they reach the Nile, even the travelers grow quiet, as though the river's serenity demands reverence. They fill their jars, rest in the shade, and whisper prayers of thanks for safe passage. The sun continues its slow journey westward. The air begins to soften again, and the color of the sky deepens to amber. Fishermen pull their boats ashore, carrying baskets of fish glinting like silver coins. Children gather at the water's edge to watch, their eyes bright with wonder. The rhythm of the day nears its close, just as it has since time began. Evening approaches, and the sky transforms into shades of rose and violet. The sun dips lower, casting long shadows across the fields and temples. The Nile reflects this changing light, turning from sparkling blue to deep gold. Its surface shimmers gently, like molten treasure, as if carrying the secrets of countless generations. Along the riverbanks, villagers begin to slow their work. Baskets of grain and vegetables are set aside, and the animals are led back to shaded pens. The rhythmic clatter of plows and wheels fades, replaced by the soft murmur of wind through the reeds. Every movement feels deliberate, measured by the pulse of the river itself. In the small courtyards of mud-brick homes, women prepare simple evening meals. Flatbread bakes over open flames, the scent mingling with the fragrance of herbs and the river's damp coolness. Children, tired from the day's play, sit quietly or drift towards sleep on woven mats. The air is gentle and warm, carrying a quiet peace. Along the temple paths, lamps are lit, their flames flickering against carved stone walls. Priests move with quiet grace, offering small tokens of thanks to the gods. Happy, the spirit of the Nile is honored with bowls of water, while Ra is greeted with rising smoke from burning incense. Every gesture is slow, intentional, a rhythm that mirrors the river's own flow. The river teems with life, even as darkness falls. Crocodiles glide beneath the surface, silent and watchful. Fish dart in shadows, their scales catching the last light of day. Frogs chorus from the reeds, a gentle harmony that fills the night. The rhythm of nature continues, patient and unbroken, reflecting the eternal cycle of life. In distant fields, the last farmers linger for a final glance at the river. They pause to appreciate its steady presence, the source of their sustenance, the companion of their labor. The Nile has nourished countless generations, and tonight it whispers a lullaby as old as time, carrying their thoughts and gratitude along its currents. Above, the first stars appear, soft points of light against the darkening sky. Orion stretches across the heavens, his belt a familiar guide for travelers and farmers alike. The Great Bear turns slowly, a silent witness to the cycles of flood and harvest. The Egyptians see in these constellations a reflection of their world, an order both celestial and earthly. In the villages, nightfall brings a calm rhythm. Water jars are set in shaded corners, animals are tucked into their pens, and smoke rises gently from clay ovens. The people lie beneath woven mats, their eyes heavy, their breathing slowing. The world narrows to the sound of the river, the wind, and the distant chorus of nocturnal creatures. The river's surface mirrors the sky, now deep indigo, dotted with stars. Papyrus leaves rustle softly, and the reeds sway as if in gentle conversation with the moon. Every ripple, every flicker of light, seems a part of the same eternal pattern, a dance that has continued since the first riverbank was settled. Even the great pyramids seem to exhale in the night, their limestone softened by moonlight. Shadows stretch across their faces, revealing details carved long ago. They are silent storytellers, guardians of memory, and witnesses to countless generations who lived and worked along the Nile. They remind all who gaze upon them of the balance between the fleeting and the eternal. In the heart of the valley, priests complete their evening observances. Lamps are extinguished slowly, incense smolders, and the final offerings are placed at the altars. They move with care, aware that every action carries meaning. Gratitude flows from their hearts as steadily as the river beneath them, a quiet devotion linking them to every soul who has come before. The night deepens further, and the cool air settles over the land. Shadows of palms stretch long across courtyards and fields. Crickets and night birds add soft rhythms to the stillness, joining the song of frogs and the sigh of the river. The world becomes a cradle, lulling all life into quiet reflection. From the river's edge, the lotus blooms close gently as darkness embraces them. Their petals glisten faintly in the moonlight, fragile yet eternal. The cycle of life continues uninterrupted, and those who watch, even in silence, feel its gentle lesson, that everything is connected, flowing together like the waters of the Nile. The villagers sleep deeply, comforted by the constancy of the river and the stars. The air carries a subtle fragrance of the land, damp earth, blossoms, and the faint scent of distant incense. It is a reminder that even in darkness, there is peace, harmony, and the quiet continuity of life. The Nile whispers onward, smooth and steady, carrying the world toward another dawn. Its waters reflect the night sky, the moon, and the stars, blending the heavens and the earth in serene unity. The people, the animals, the land itself, all share in this gentle rhythm, part of an eternal story written in water, stone, and light. The first light of morning spills gently across the valley, painting the river in soft gold and rose. Mist rises from the water, curling lazily among the reeds and the lotus blooms. The air is cool and fresh, carrying the subtle scent of damp earth, sun-warmed clay, and the distant desert. Everything feels renewed, as if the world has exhaled in sleep and now begins again. Along the banks, fishermen prepare their boats for the new day. They move slowly, their hands accustomed to the familiar weight of oars and nets. The river welcomes them, guiding each craft silently through the gentle current. Fish leap occasionally, scattering drops that sparkle in the morning light. Each movement seems deliberate, part of a larger, timeless rhythm. The fields awaken gradually. Farmers return to their work, tending crops with patient care. Oxen pull wooden plows through dark, fertile soil, leaving smooth furrows that promise abundance. Women gather herbs and vegetables, their motions unhurried, blending efficiency with grace. The hum of life rises softly, harmonious with the flow of the Nile. Temples stir as priests prepare for morning rituals. Lamps are lit and incense burns, filling the cool air with faint, fragrant smoke. Offerings are arranged with care, bowls of grain, water from the river, small statues of gods. Every action is mindful, steeped in gratitude for the river, the sun, and the eternal cycles of life. The chants begin quietly, low and melodic, echoing across the water. Children appear along the riverbanks, their eyes bright and curious. Some run through the shallow waters, feeling the cool current on their feet. Others gather flowers and papyrus, crafting simple garlands or watching the birds that glide effortlessly above. The world is vivid, alive with movement, yet calm, like a painting rendered in sound and light. The Nile itself gleams under the rising sun. Currents move slowly, yet with steady purpose, carrying silt from distant lands to nourish the soil. Reflections of clouds ripple across the surface, interrupted only by the gentle leap of fish or the graceful landing of a heron. It is both quiet and endlessly alive, the artery of life that has shaped this land for millennia. Above, the sky brightens to clear blue, revealing the constellations of the previous night fading in memory. Stars vanish as the sun climbs higher, yet their order remains etched in the minds of those who watch the heavens. The Egyptians see continuity in the skies, a mirror of the river's faithful flow, teaching patience and reverence for all that endures. The pyramids far to the north glow faintly in the morning light, their massive forms softened by distance. They are monuments to human endeavor and devotion, silent witnesses to countless generations. Travelers passing by pause briefly, sensing the weight of history and the harmony of time reflected in stone and sand. The Nile continues at their feet, eternal and steady. Across the villages, life resumes its gentle rhythm. Meals are prepared, water is drawn, and the daily chores proceed with quiet diligence. Even in activity, there is serenity. The people move in accordance with the river, their lives woven into its endless cycles. They understand that every day is both fleeting and eternal, a gift measured by effort and gratitude. The lotus blooms open fully in the morning light, revealing their delicate petals. Bees visit them, and the soft hum mingles with the rustling of papyrus and the distant chatter of birds. Each creature, each plant, each wave of the river contributes to the tapestry of life, interconnected, harmonious, and enduring. The lesson of the Nile is clear: patience, balance, and reverence sustain all existence. By midday, the sun warms the earth, and shadows shrink. Yet the river remains a constant, reflecting light and life with unerring steadiness. Families gather near the water's edge, exchanging quiet words and laughter, resting between tasks. Even in moments of pause, the world feels full and complete, a living testament to the cycles that govern life along the Nile. The day continues, calm and measured. The river carries life forward, unseen currents beneath the surface moving steadily toward the future. The people, animals, and plants along its banks respond in turn, flowing with patience and grace. Every action, no matter how small, is part of a grand pattern, a gentle reminder that time itself moves in harmony with nature. As evening approaches once more, the light softens, turning fields and river to gold again. The cycle of day and night, work and rest, continues without interruption. The Nile whispers in its ancient voice, a lullaby of continuity, reminding all who dwell beside it that life flows endlessly, like water over stones, shaped by time, yet eternal. The villagers, priests, and travelers pause to honor the river. Offerings are given, prayers are lifted, and gratitude is felt deeply. The Nile sustains, teaches, and guides, unchanging yet ever present. Life along its banks continues, simple, beautiful, and enduring, a perfect reflection of the timeless world it nourishes. Finally, as stars reappear and the moon rises, the valley quiets. Children sleep, animals rest, and the river glides beneath the night sky, steady, serene, and eternal. The lesson of the Nile, learned through observation and reverence, echoes softly in the hearts of all. To live with patience, balance, and gratitude is to flow with the eternal current of life itself. The gentle river carries all into the night, and the cycle begins anew, unbroken, eternal, and serene.